back to Uncut and welcome back to another film industry interview. Today with us we have Kendall Anderson, set decorator for Companion. Kendall has worked in some amazing TV series and movies like Problemista, The Punisher, Uncut Gems, which is one of my favorites, and today's topic, Companion. In this interview, she was able to tell us what a set decorator actually does in the set, how often she has to be there, what she has to do to prepare, what she has to do after the movie is already filming, and all of these fun facts that you'll be able to watch in our interview today. Before we go on, make sure you like and subscribe so you can get more industry interviews from the people that worked on your favorite movies. Without further ado, Kendall Anderson.
So I am Kendall Anderson. I'm a set decorator based in New York. Work on film mostly and some television. I'm doing it for about 15 years. Currently working on a film called Verity.
Perfect. So here today we are talking about Companion, which is a movie that was
Mhm.
just released. But I wanted to first start off asking you what got you interested in set decoration as a career, and how did you get to the level that you are now?
Okay, so I went to college not really knowing what I wanted to do. And in I did like an intro to film studies class, and it was like the first time I was in school where I was like, oh, I really like this, and I like got good grades, maybe for the first time in a while. So I was like, oh, so maybe if I'm doing something I'm really interested in, that's like the path for me. So I just decided to change my major to film studies. I did like a whole film studies program at the University of Colorado in Boulder. And as I was like nearing the end, I was learning a lot more about like production design, which was like really interested me. And I didn't, a lot of schools don't have like a production design specific path. So I decided to also do like art school. So I did like a double major in studio art. I thought like kind of this like art history and like painting would give me like a good base for like the artistic side and to kind of combine it together. So I did those two majors. When I graduated, I moved right to New York and I was working in like an art gallery, but also doing like multiple other things. And I met some people that worked in TV and I let them know like that's what I was really interested in. And like the next day I was set dressing. Um, and really quickly here the first job you're on, you meet people and it just kind of like expands your world. So I would say within like 6 months, I was decorating my first job. There was a little like segue into prop styling when I was doing like odd jobs, which really helped me for decorating because it's a lot of shopping and like knowing where to get things. So I got a really like good knowledge base from uh, a great prop stylist initially, which like really set me up to decorate. And I've been doing it since like 2012 now, probably.
Wow, that's great.
Yeah.
Awesome. So with Companion specifically, we know that there's like the gigantic house that
hmm
the movie mainly takes place in, but there's also plenty of stuff that takes place outside in the woods. So I was wondering if you just go in a little detail on what your main goals were and what your job was for that particular set.
I mean, when I took the job, it was in like everything was like shutting down from the writer's strike. So
Mm.
I was like coming off a job that got shut down and I got offered this like tiny movie that was taking place upstate. And I love being upstate and like a lot of people were available. So I was able to like I worked with a production designer friend of mine, Scott Cusio, and I was able to bring on like an assistant. So it seemed like a good setup for this tiny job. And basically, it's hard to do really low budget movies, but because it was essentially one location, I felt we could make it happen with like a little bit of money. So basically the goal was we had this house upstate that it was actually for sale, I think is how they found it. But the decor was not what we wanted for the movie.
Mm.
So we moved everything out and we brought all of our own stuff in. My entire budget basically went to the movie, sorry, to the house. And then we did a lot of the exteriors like right around the property because it was on like so many acres. So had this like long, beautiful driveway and We had like greens people that had to come in and paint the grass so it would look like a different season. But yeah, it was basically just like turning the decor into kind of like fit this character in the end was the main goal. And for a little bit of money, we had to do it.
Yeah, we were actually talking with quite a few people that worked on Companion,
Mm-hmm.
like the executive producer of makeup, and they talked a lot about how the changing in seasons really affected their work. So I think
Yes.
grass was kind of something that you had to deal with and other things like that.
Yeah, yeah. It was like, and also because then eventually that job got shut down from when the actors went on strike. And then we didn't come back until like later. And like, we were at the height of summer and then it was fall, winter when we were trying to finish. So it was kind of a tricky situation, but I couldn't tell when I saw the movie. So I think we did a good job. There's probably
Yeah, it
some
was a
VFX
surprise to
help.
us.
Yeah, it doesn't look like two different seasons of the year for sure.
Right. Yeah.
So, how did you collaborate with the production designer to ensure that the film was sort of following the vision despite any budget constraints?
I mean, we've worked together before, so we like work pretty well together. He does got a lot of like reference photos. So we had like a ton of research to look through about kind of how we wanted to do this. And I brought a lot of images too, and we had to really be creative about how to like make our money stretch because it's like a massive house, obviously, and a very small budget movie. So we definitely tried to lean more on this like like minimalist style. But yeah, we were definitely like on the same page to begin with. We wanted like it's near future, but we wanted it to feel like pretty timeless. Like we didn't want people to feel like they're in like the Jetsons, like we weren't trying to do like future per se. It was supposed to feel like really familiar. Um, yes.
Is there any moment in particular that on set where you felt like this is so memorable or this experience I'll like take with me on to the next set?
Hmm. Oh gosh. It was just a long time ago we made this movie. We made it like I'm like, it was like a cool experience for me because I often, as a decorator, you're always one step ahead. Um, when you have multiple locations, like you spend all this time on a set, the crew shows up and they set up to start doing the first shot, and I'm just like, all right, make sure it's all good, and then I run off to get tomorrow's work ready. So it was nice to just be in one place, and actually I was on set a lot for this. So there were, which is just very rare as a decorator. You're like hardly ever on set. So in general, it was just nice to like be there. I got to like, I don't know, we did like some florals that it was there's like a small crew. So I was like doing all of the things. My favorite maybe was like the dance scene. We had this like really cool, I got this really cool CD player, and like you just like wave your hand in front of it and it opens, and like to see that in action working was pretty cool.
What would you say was like your biggest challenge?
Um, hmm. It was really hard coming back like after we took a long break to like just like set up the house the way it was before. Everything got struck really fast, and like, so getting it back to what it was like a bit of a challenge in like a short amount of time. Um, but I don't know. It wasn't like too difficult of a job. It was very pleasant for the most part. Yeah, nothing is like standing out. I mean, in general, like maybe the hardest set was the van that that was like one of the last things we shot, and so you get a little bit of like senioritis at the end, and like we're like, no, this is a big thing we have to pull off. But it was fun. It got like really creative because we had no money, so we were just buying like fake buttons and turning things that you're not really supposed to would never, a little bit like hodgepodge of material. But I think it turned out pretty cool.
For sure.
Hmm.
And talking about movies you made a while ago,
Yeah.
I love Uncut Gems.
Hmm.
and it was kind of like my introduction to Adam Sandler being a non-funny actor.
Right. Yeah.
And so if you could just talk a little bit about how that experience was for you.
That was a cool experience. It was very hard. I look back on that one. It was challenging. It was one of the first times the Safdies were working on a stage because everything is always real and like real actors, real places. So to make the jewelry showroom, which was a stage, um, authentic was like a really hard task. Like we really had to like reach deep to like the tiniest detail to like make it feel authentic. Yeah, so like the whole showroom and the back office was all built on a stage.
Oh,
And like the Diamond District is just such like a particular place with particular
Mhm.
people. Um, if you've ever been there in person, you like it's just like bustling. It's just like full of things to look at, and just to like recreate that um in a fake environment was a challenge. And like to the very last second, we were like adding to, like all through the weekend, through the night, like till we could just like reach what we wanted as like perfection. But um yeah, it was tough. It was really cool though, like working with them, and their process is really, really special.
I think your role is very interesting because you play a vital part of how the film finally looks.
Hmm.
And do you ever get to be like one-on-one with say the director or the actors and trying to see what their vision is and how that might help you accomplish it?
Yes, for sure. I mean, every job is different. I would say the more experienced I get, my job becomes like a lot more collaborative. Like it's always very collaborative with the designer, but I do, I feel like in more recent years, like I definitely have a conversation with the director too. There's a lot more like direct line of communication there. Um, and sometimes actors have lots to say about what their spaces look like, and sometimes they don't, you know.
Mhm.
But it's definitely something we try to seek out and like understand like how they see their character, or like what would their character, what do they read like in their opinion or something, those kind of things. Because the one of the biggest parts of our job is like, half the stuff you see in the final cut, you know, that we did, you just don't see it. So
Mhm.
it's really about creating this like 360-degree environment for the actors and the characters to feel like they're in a real space. Um, so it is like very important what the director feels is like important for the story, and what the character and the actor want to bring through their like surroundings.
mm. What is a piece of advice that you would give to someone that wanted to pursue like set decoration or
Mhm.
production design as a career?
Man, I mean, I think there's so many ways to go about it in a way, but like I do think a background in film is really important, because just to have like a passion for that, and like, uh, I was really into like, just like film and color, and like watching film, and just like falling in love with film, because it like makes you want to like make that same impact on your work. But really it's, from like a technical perspective, being somewhere where there's film production and getting in as a PA in the art department, just to really like see the workings of the department, like whether it's on the production design, graphics, set deck, whatever it is. And then, letting people know that you work with, like what your goals are, what you want to do. And, every job you're going to meet more people, and everyone's willing to like help and give you a chance if you're hardworking and like really care about it.
That's awesome.
Mhm.
We've been asking everybody that has been a guest, what is your favorite movie and why?
Such a hard question. Was not prepared for that one. I mean, there's so many. Mm,
You can say a couple. You don't have to come down to your favorite child.
I really like Wong Kar-wai movies, like um the 2046 is the one I really like comes to mind. Um I like this like use of like detail and color. But I don't know if it's my favorite movie. Um it's tricky. I don't know, that's a really hard question. Sorry, I don't have like a good answer. Um, but yeah, it probably would be like a Wong Kar-wai film or like a Pedro Almodovar film.
Okay.
Um, like I love that movie, Tie Me Up, Tie Me Down, a Pedro
Mhm.
Almodovar film. But it's like movies that like stick in my head like visually are coming to
Yeah.
mind. Yeah. Or
We
like
actually,
and the music. Yeah.
Right.
I think that's how we feel about Conclave. I don't know if you've gotten the chance to see it.
I haven't seen it all. You loved it?
It's just visually
Visually.
Visually,
stunning.
it's beautiful. Yeah, I like can picture. I didn't get to finish it, but like I don't know, there's like a picture of like an auditorium with like red and like blue seats. It's
Yeah.
like so beautiful. Yeah. And that's
Yes,
cool
that's
because
one of
like
the biggest.
that's like the, impact like a production designer and a set decorator have on film. So it is like, the visual is so important. Obviously the
Definitely.
story too, but to add to it is like really special.
Yeah. So you mentioned this movie that you're working on right now, but what else is in the horizon for you, and where can people follow you?
Okay, so I am working on Verity now, and that is wrapping up soon. I think it'll be available spring of next year. I let's see, what is in the works that I finished that hasn't come out yet? I worked on a film in North Carolina called Roof Man. It's a Derek Cianfrance film. Um, that was like my whole second part of the last year. It's a really cool story. I won't get into it too much, but if you look up Roof Man in like North Carolina, you
With
can
Channing
read all about
Tatum.
this with Channing Tatum. Yeah, so I did that, and that's going to be the next one to come out. But I also spent a little bit of time last summer working on a film, a Luca Guadagnino film called After the Hunt.
Mm.
It took place, it was all shot in London, but it took place in New Haven, Connecticut. And so I
Wow.
had a whole team here in New York, and we were like sending things on the daily because they needed the real stuff from the US. So it was like an interesting job where I was like running a crew here and they were doing stuff there. So that I don't know when that's coming out. I honestly haven't heard anything about it in a minute, but those are the things on the horizon. And then I don't know what's in store after this. It's a little slow in New York. There's a bunch of things like picking up, but my schedule hasn't quite aligned with the right project yet. So
Mm.
um, we'll see. Because I've been like on like back to back overlapping jobs for like what feels like a couple of years now. So I'm hoping for like 2 weeks to like not do anything.
We'll
So
definitely be in the lookout for that.
Yeah.
yeah,
And we've
Roof Man should be
also
cool.
Yeah, we've also coincidentally interviewed one of the art director slash production designers on It Ends With Us, the other Colleen Hoover
Oh, nice.
movie adaptation. So very excited to see Verity when it comes out and
Yeah, we saw
talk
like a
about that.
teaser the other day. They like showed the crew, and we did some really fun, like the sets are very extravagant, and like we shot in a location in New York that's never been shot in before.
Wow.
Um, which doesn't happen too often because locations like get repeated a lot, but
Yeah.
Mhm.
yeah, it's like a house upstate that's uh, it's built by this architect, Jens Quistgaard. He was also, I don't know if you're familiar with like the Dansk products. It's like there was a bunch of like mid-century wood kitchen items. Anyway, he's the
Mm.
product designer of that. Also unknown to a lot of people, he was an architect, and he built this gorgeous house, and we got to shoot in there, and then we reimagined a lot of the house on stage. So it was just like a fun exercise to kind of like create this like extension of a home.
That'll be
That's
exciting.
awesome.
We can definitely bring you back to talk about that.
Yeah.
Cool. Yeah,
So
I'd be
where can
happy
people
to.
follow you?
Oh, on Instagram, probably. And it's KDALL_. Thank you, everybody. It was nice chatting with you. and cut.
Thank you so much for watching this episode of Uncut. You can follow us on all social media, starting with Instagram as Uncut the podcast. You can also follow us on YouTube as That Film Couple, which is the same handle for TikTok, That Film Couple for short form content. You can also follow us on Twitch as Sebasparra1K. And if you're watching right now on YouTube, you can find us on any podcast platform as Uncut exclamation mark. Last but not least, you can follow me on Instagram as sebi.mp4.
And you can follow me at caitlin.mp4.
Thank you so much for being here one more week, and we'll see you in the next one.